Okay, morning everyone, and welcome to the briefing on Friday the 2nd of September. Different looking sky out there this morning, a little bit more unsettled than it's been in the last few days. And you can see why when you look at the overnight chart. You've got sort of a level of instability pressure down at about 1012 over central France. And that's slowly creeping further north and turning itself into a low pressure system over northern France. Be feeding in fronts today, or trough lines really. This is what's lining up for a little bit tomorrow. See if you run forward, the low pressure develops out to the west of Ireland and feeds us in a couple of fronts, which actually look quite weak by the time they get to us. So today, winds quite slack. You can see this rotating low here. We're still drawing in a light easterly flow. Looks like it'll start off northeasterly and then slowly go around southeasterly during the day. Isobars are fairly well spaced apart, so it won't be strong. And they're sort of showing some of these trough lines. It's predicted to go across the west of England, west of us this afternoon, developing some quite heavy showers down that way. So local to us, the TAFs are fairly straightforward. So Farnborough, showing 0607 knots, so 5 to 7 knots I think is about right, looking at all the forecasts. Not sure why they've chucked in Cav OK there, because I think there's various layered levels of cloud at the moment. And what they have thrown in is a tempo between 7 and 4 o'clock this afternoon, showers and rain. What that means is you'd be very unlucky to catch a shower of any sort. You'll see why in a sec, what's actually happening at the moment. Gatwick, you think, oh, it looks an awful lot longer, but remember it's covering the next 24 hours, so it's sort of showing what's developing both overnight with mist and fog developing, and then sort of tempo showers tomorrow morning. Upper winds, middle of the country look reasonably fresh from a sort of southeasterly direction over us. I think more or less southeasterly, but only about 10 knots. Not incredibly strong, maybe a little bit more than that looking at other forecasts, but not much. SatPic just shows a lot of cloud. You sort of look at this and think, well, maybe it's a small frontal system, but it's just cloud drifting up from the south with little bits of rain that are beginning to dissipate mixed into it, and you can see that from the rainfall radar. I haven't looked at the infrared, the upper cloud, but I'm sure there is some higher cirrus about above this sort of overcast we've got at the moment. You can see reasonable amount of rain coming through overnight, but fizzling out fairly quickly by the looks of it. But we're just watching what's developing really down over here that we think might be coming across. I think might be coming across the west of England, but at the moment it's all just fizzling out really. Temperature wise, certainly not going to be as warm as yesterday, I don't think. I think 23 is probably about right actually. BBC was suggesting a little bit less than that. It's going to feel quite humid. Currently, the Lasham weather station showing 95% humidity, with a sort of temperature around sort of 17 degrees and dew points at 16. I'm not anticipating the dew points falling. Certainly 11, I think, is optimistic. I would have thought 12s or 13s. Today with a temperature of 22 seems to be about the order of the day. You can look at different models and they give a very different picture of what actually is going to happen today. In terms of the predicted ascents, that's sort of 1 o'clock this afternoon. You can see the lines when they're tilted back this way are showing instability, and it goes up an awful long way up through here. Certainly potential for once you get sort of mixing and any level of thermal activity for sort of plenty of cloud development up through here. But it stabilizes out a little bit in there in the afternoon. I take this one with a bit of a pinch of salt, really. I'm not convinced that's quite right for what we're going to get. Having a look at the actual ascent, the Lark Hill this morning, shows that level of instability. And basically, if you get 21, 22 degrees, and this is the same air mass, it breaks that inversion. You're likely to get a shower or two, as the cloud tops are going to go up a long, long way. Hard to say whether that might be the air mass that's moving further south, further west during the day. But Top Meteor, looking at their sort of cloud picture, showing mid-level, a lot of mid-level cloud during the morning. That's sort of 2,000 foot plus, but you've got then the sort of mid-level stuff at 3, 4, 5,000 feet and above that. And it doesn't really turn to any form of cumulus until this afternoon, where they're showing upper cloud breaking up a little bit and some cumulus spread out, congestus as they call it. So pretty optimistic forecast for soaring from Top Meteor. They're not showing any sort of soaring until sort of 2, 3 o'clock. But then they're sort of saying, yeah, in some places 900 meters, other places 1,600, 1,800 meters. Remember that Gatwick was saying Cav OK, so could well be, you know, a reasonable bit of soaring for a couple of hours in the afternoon. But the potential for showers, I think, the odd isolated shower in and around here, heavier down in the West Country. Predicted distance for today from Top Meteor, not very far at all, 100k, maybe a little bit more than that if you're lucky in a weather window this afternoon. SkySight, a lot more optimistic. So their potential flight distance, 200k in and around Lasham. And their height of thermals were saying in the afternoon, north of us, 1,100 meters. And then by sort of 3 o'clock, around the 1,600 meter mark. But they're also showing cloud bases up here at 2,000 meters. I can't quite see where they're, well, I can actually see from that predicted data where they're getting it from, but I don't quite believe it. So yeah, what I can take from that is a soarable weather window after lunch, really. How good it's going to be, well, I think it's just, you've got to see if you're there. If you're not there, you don't have the opportunity to make the most of it. So yeah, potential for soaring this afternoon and a short cross country. I think it looks like it's cleared certainly in the last hour. When we looked at the weather, so cloud is already going up and any low stuff will disappear. So should be flyable pretty much straight away. Okay, so onto airspace. Looks like there's not really a lot going on. Things of note. Popham, there is an LAA. It's called the it's grassroots fly-in is the description of what that means. But there is an LAA fly-in. And if you drive past it, there's signs for the LAA rally, like Aircraft Association rally. It's running today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So it will be incredibly busy. Don't land at Popham, basically. The circuit's going to be full all day. I'm sure that the last thing they need is a glider mixed in with that lot. So we're just advising people to stay clear of it. It's not NOTAM, which is a bit of a surprise, whether they've just not popped up on our NOTAM map or they've actually forgotten the NOTAM today. But there's also, if you wanted to go and visit on the ground, lots of trade stands and other things going on. So I'm going to pop in there today, just have a look around. Worth a visit. Other things, 2022, irrelevant. They're just high intensity radio transmissions. Further away, 28, the Fairford ATZ's activated all day from 7 o'clock this morning till 1900 tonight. And the 30 is just a firework display at Bryce. And the other things going on, although it's not relevant to us going gliding, is Bournemouth Air Show running all weekend. And the Reds are displaying from 1625 to 1705 today. They're displaying every day over the weekend. But it's restricted airspace down there for the air show during the afternoons. And that's really about it in terms of local airspace. Operationally, beyond 09, looking at the wind direction, although it's not very strong. I looked 20 minutes ago, there's no filed flight plans for jet movement, so fingers crossed, no jet movements today. And Merv Saunders will be running the airfield. Hopefully, go out and get some flying today, folks.